We get done with the presidential election, and we're all thinking that the White House is the most important and the most powerful. And suddenly Congress comes back and says, Merry Christmas.
Welcome to 1850 Main Street, a place where friends get together and talk about their country and hope for a brighter future. Today, Rob Walgate and Alan C. Duncan from the Public Square are joined by David Zanotti, the CEO of the American Policy Roundtable.
Quick conversation on what's going on Capitol Hill. Now, it's changing hour by hour by hour, but it's almost like a moment from a Dickens novel. It's almost like something out of Christmas Carol, because we're being visited by ghosts.
Are these benevolent ghosts?
Well, that to be determined.
We are, but isn't it like Congress to wait till the last minute to do their homework? I mean, what have they been doing all year? Like, what? I know there was an election. I know it was a major year, but
can I pull on that thread?
Yeah.
Wait till the last minute to do their homework, or get caught at the last minute?
Yeah. I'll take get caught.
1,500 pages is a stack this high. They had their homework done on time.
Yeah, they were doing something, but they didn't show it to anyone or want to talk about it publicly.
Show your work?
Well, I guess in the communication aspect as well, I think about, we sat around the table earlier this month and talked about budget for the company. We talked about, what comes in, what goes out, what we have to do, does it all add up? Does this make sense? Challenge one another, have honest discussions. You can't just spend into oblivion, right?
Unless you're spending somebody else's money.
Unless you're spending somebody else's money.
And no one's reading the receipts. So what we've got is this is I don't know, let's see, what would this be? Would this be a Christmas future? Or is it a Christmas present? Or I don't know.
Christmas future was the scariest one.
Yeah. So we should all not speak. We should just all
just point.
Okay, at this stage in the game. This is, I heard Jen Psaki, who is someone that has now transformed, interestingly enough, into a media personality, and giving the brow-beaten finger wagging of, we told you so, and this is the chaos that you bad people have bought into. I just want to take a second and pull on the threads. First off, I think it's important to establish a point of credibility, because there's so many new people who are listening to our conversations, and the first thing they should question is our moral authority. Who are they? Who cares what they think? This is just one more set of opinions. Whose water are they carrying? Every question of moral authority should be asked and challenged, and that's fair. So when we have these conversations, we are getting together out of an urgency to tell people what we are discovering, because our mission field is public policy. And after having been at it for all of our lifetimes now, conglomerated together, we know stuff. We don't know everything. And we don't think that highly of ourselves. We know that there's more we don't know than we do know, but what we do know is relevant. And what we do know is that the cartel of the leadership mechanism inside the United States Congress, that's the people who run the Senate, just a couple, and the people who run the House, just a couple, maybe 4 people total, cooked up a deal, and they left somebody out. Probably not a good idea to put up a 1,500-page piece. Now, let's get on their side for a second. And if there's anything that we specialize in here as a public policy organization, along with analyzing and dissecting laws, looking into the history of litigation and legislation, and then creating positive alternatives, which is what we've been doing for 45 years, is we usually can find the rat. All right? And there's a rat in here. And the rat got flushed out right in time for Christmas.
Well, we've also talked about, historically, the need for a balanced budget from a federal perspective and spending all through the years. We've also talked about that for as long as I can remember, and the mechanisms of getting there, and not trying to do it every single year.
Well, the fact that, so let's put that into perspective, because you've got this 1,500 pages. Now let's get on. I would say the other thing we do really well here is we try to get inside the other guy's shoes and play the other side, like a board game.
You can't understand someone else's position if you can't imagine why they're doing what they're doing.
You got to get in their shoes and walk through it. So let's look at our government as positions of power. Now, for an entire year, we've been focused on one branch of government. And there's been nothing but endless volleys of promises and charges and countercharges and counterpromises. And we pushed ourselves through that funnel. We made the choice, the binary choice between two candidates. And now we say, okay, can we get back to living now because we fixed that? We didn't fix squat. We just set up the next battle. And all of a sudden, here it is. Now, let's think about this. Republican, Democrat, Boulder Dash. This is power blocks. And it's the people who run Congress who have the power to spend the money and to create the debt and to balance the budget. And the president does not, nor does the federal judiciary. The people who have the power of the purse who basically said, oh, bravo, bravo, Merry Christmas, go, 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 Happy Yule log, whatever, okay? Here's 1,500 pages. What are they going to do with it? Well, they're going to get it passed into March so that the new administration coming in for the first 90 days is completely handcuffed in regards to budgetary decisions based upon this little cartel that put up 1,500 pages that nobody read, that is filled with stuff that is policy inside budget to take all those items off the table from the new Congress and the new administration. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
Well, and the ones that want to spend and do that are also blaming Elon Musk for tweeting that, hey, I mean, when I watch...
Elon, call us, please. We've been doing this for 45 years. You're close. We can help you.
When I watch speeches on the floor and I'm looking around and they're mad about a taxpayer that's being frustrated. Now, that taxpayer has a loud voice, but they want him to just shut up and go away. They don't want him involved in the process. And he doesn't have any elected position or, I mean, influence on them. The problem is
he's wrong that this jacks me up so much.
No,
I think it makes a lot of people mad. Yeah.
He exposed it. And now people are calling their representatives saying, "Hey, what's in there?"
Well, who expects
Elon Musk in this Dickens piece?
Oh, yeah, I got to think about that one. That's good. That's good. Maybe it's a different Dickens story.
Okay.
Perhaps. Yeah, maybe it's Oliver Twist or something. It could be. But nobody thinks that they're going to read 1,500 pages. We all know it's kind of one of those hiding in plain sight type of thing. We all know what's happening. Just at this point, can you just be honest with us? You know, no one likes it. No one's gonna read it. And Americans spoke in this last election cycle. They don't want business as usual. We don't want the same stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we'd like for Christmas. Do it differently.
Well, look, Elon Musk is basically Santa Claus to the whole nation by simply having the courage to say, I don't get it. It's a total Tom Hanks moment from Big. Mm-hmm. There's Elon Musk in the board meeting raising his hand saying, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what? Because he's right. There's nothing to get. There's about 9 pages inside that 1,500 that really, really, truly are operative and make all the difference. So you'll notice now that the second proposal was like this big versus this big.
Yeah.
Now, by the time we're talking together, this is changing momentarily. This whole thing could turn upside down 3 times in the next 2 years.
And there's 530 some odd elected officials that are there debating it, discussing it, 435 in the House. And listen, they're real folks with real families. They want to go home for Christmas.
Yeah.
So how does that also impact by waiting till the last minute, knowing that deadline is, I want to be with my family?
Where do all these pages come from? Like, who's writing them?
Staff.
Who's generating? They're just churning them out.
Staff.
Are they grabbing things from other places and just compiling?
No, there are chiefs of staff that have private meetings behind the scenes, and they've been given directives from their members, whether it's House or Senate, that X, Y, and Z and leadership wants this taken care of and this taken care of and this taken care of. And so they, with their lawyers, it's their staff members as well, they put the 1,500 pages together as to this is what it's going to look like. Now, there's a system and there's a flow to it. And it's true, it would take you a lifetime of a career to be able to master the processes of the federal budget. We've known people that know that. We've known people that know state budgets. We have respect for them and they're valuable players. The politicians, by and large, don't really know how it works. They trust other people to make it work. and they direct them. All right.
Yeah.
Now, there's a certain level of integrity in that, because if somebody gets caught playing with those numbers and that language, they're out of a career.
We've all done writing around this table. To generate 1,500 pages is a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's just intentional. It feels very intentional.
A lot of it's formulaic.
Yeah, some of it's just fill in the blank.
It's fill in the blanks. It's been there before.
Thanks for stopping by at 1850 Main Street. We're glad you're here. Do you want to learn more about what is really going on behind the scenes in public policy? Tune in to The Public Square on over 200 radio stations coast to coast. Or download the free Public Square mobile app from your app store. Just look for The Lamppost. Find out what America is really talking about at thepublicsquare.com.
Okay, now let's get into one other piece of the puzzle. And this is the only mistake that the Trump people have made at this stage in the game in trying to staff up as fast as they could, is they swiped some members from the Republican majority and have moved them into the administrative branch, actually to the executive branch in the administration. That leaves no margins for error at all on the Republican side. And until those seats are refilled, which will take probably until May, the administration does not have as much room to move as they should and as on paper they should have. So all these numbers go forward into March. Now you've got them handcuffed for the first 90 days, but they're still probably going to need 60 days more than that. So they've already taken the first 6 months of the Trump administration and put it under their control in that 1,500 pages. That's what this is all about. And it is a Republican and a Democrat. This is the dirty, stinking reality of it, is that Congress is now saying, excuse me, we played along with you on the election. Now let us show you the other side of our hand.
But so you're saying there is a swamp there?
It's a swamp that was built by design.
Yeah.
Everything's designed to be a power struggle between the branches of the governments. And let's not kid ourselves. Congress is the most powerful branch. We get done with the presidential election, and we're all thinking that the White House is the most important and the most powerful. And suddenly Congress comes back and says, Merry Christmas.
The vortex of power?
The vortex of power is described in the Federalist Papers.
Right. Now, that doesn't sound like a complimentary term, like vortex. If you described a person as a vortex of power, that doesn't even sound, that's not complimentary. It's noticing it and saying.
And the language was used to make the point. Yeah. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
This is where the power is. That's why we re-elect members of the House every 2 years, because they understood, the framers did, that they were giving those people in the House of Representatives so much power that we better be able to check them every 2 years, or else they're going to run away with this thing, which, oops.
And the thing I think about when we talk about those 2 years is when that was set up hundreds of years ago. It wasn't like the travel was easy to D.C. I know we've talked about it before, but I mean, they did it.
It wasn't like there was malaria around,
and
right?
they did it in 2-year increments. And I'm like, my goodness, think about how much work that was to get back to the constituents you represent. But they still said, you're only staying 2.
All right, we got to do this quick because I want to be respectful for everybody this time of year in their time and attention. But what's the moral of this? Here's the thing that's yet to be written. How much tolerance for air sickness or motion sickness or walking around dizzy all the time can the American electorate tolerate? Because these are going to be queasy times in this power struggle.
That's the thing that frustrates me about this. Is we had a massive, I don't know if people want to call it a landslide. The election was a big election. People talk about the word mandate. It was a big deal. And then Congress does this to the American people, to their own people that they're supposed to be representing. It feels like a big middle finger to the country. After we would like to get things done. American citizens want to get stuff done.
Can't say it any better than that.
And now they're grinding us to a halt on purpose.
Yep. And so let's look at how that lines up. The Democrat Party is absolutely opposed to every single thing that they don't invent. If it's not theirs, then it's wrong and it's evil, and they will torch it at any level and degree. So all this nonsense, I've got to watch my mouth. You fill in your expletives as you will. All this stuff that they're saying is it's just nonsense. All they want is power. They've proven that to us over the last lifetime. They just want power. Republicans are no better. They want the power as well. inside the House and the Senate that's just scrunched down into the battle of how these laws get written and how the money gets spent. And we don't care if you don't know because we don't care because you don't know. We'll come out and lie to you again the next election. This is what now people like Elon Musk and Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Rogan, they have stumbled
Vivek,
they have stumbled into this as newfoundlings. I don't know, what words can you say? They're babes in the woods. They've stumbled in and they have the courage to say, what is this? I don't get it. They are not bowing to the powers. They are not yielding to the press. They're saying, this is a bunch of beep. And they're saying it out loud. Do we have the courage for 1 year to let them say it, to see it, to peel it back? Because if we peel it back, we might be able to fix it.
The conversations are just getting started. To get connected, check out 1850mainstreet.com. We don't data mine anyone or sell your information. Subscribe today so you don't miss a single conversation. We'll see you next time here at 1850 Main Street.